Hey everybody, I'm forewarned meteorologist Paul Hagen here in the Weather Center. All the newsroom lights are still on, the new studio lights, so I kind of have a ghostly appearance here on the web camera, but I guess that's appropriate for Halloween weekend, and that's why I'm doing a video blog today instead of the written format. It's a complicated forecast as we head into the weekend. Going to get into some deeper details than we usually do on the TV side, so we'll take a few minutes and examine what exactly is going to happen, or what we think is going to happen. Here's what's happening right now, so I can be very certain of this. It's raining a lot in Texas, up into Oklahoma, parts of Kansas. They're in for up to 3 to 4, even up to 6 inches of rain in parts of Texas. More flooding problems for those folks. And all that moisture, you see the movement of it, it's heading generally in our direction, but it's 800, 1,000 miles still away from us at this point. But the weather pattern is going to evolve for that heavy rain and localized flooding in the middle of the country over the next 24 hours, and then that storm system is going to creep towards us. It's going to come at us in a couple of chunks, which means an unsettled forecast for most of the weekend. Moisture flooding back up from the Gulf of Mexico, and so the setup for heavier rain shifts eastward towards us. The heaviest rain overall looks like it's going to stay down to our south as we head through the weekend. Let's take a look at how things are going to shape up around here, beginning with today. We're just going to see a lot of sunshine today. That's the good news. Any outdoor plans today, this evening, tonight, looking fine. If you're heading out to high school football games, I would bundle up a little bit. Temperatures are going to be in the low 50s as they start. Then they're going to drop to around 50, and then we'll start warming back up a little bit tomorrow morning as the clouds thicken up. All the rain tomorrow morning. It's going to be way out to our west. We're going to have clouds overhead, but at least it's going to be dry for the first half of the day tomorrow. So if the kids have any outdoor plans for Halloween early in the day, Saturday, those trunk or treat events where they just go around to the cars in the parking lot and collect their sugar that way, that's looking dry for the morning, even for the early afternoon hours. Let's dive down a little closer and wind the clock forward to late afternoon. The moisture is going to be crossing over the Mississippi River, and some of it's going to be crossing over the Tennessee River already by 5 o'clock. Limited rain chances still at that point for the trick-or-treaters if they're heading out before the sun goes down. As we get past sunset, that's when the rain chances really start to increase. From southwest to northeast, generally across the mid-state, you see the rain does diminish in intensity a little bit as it moves to the northeast, but we're still looking at a wetter and wetter forecast the farther into the evening we go. So getting them out the door a little bit earlier is when you have the better odds of staying dry for those trick-or-treaters on Halloween evening. If you're going out for any Halloween night shenanigans, well, you get an extra hour for it because the clocks go back 1 hour. At 2 o'clock in the morning, it goes back to 1 o'clock in the morning because daylight saving time comes to an end. And weather-wise, more scattered showers and thunderstorms Saturday night into Sunday morning. And that's going to continue off and on throughout the day on Sunday as this unsettled weather pattern continues to just kind of linger over the mid-state. Another chunk of that storm system moving towards us with scattered showers and even some thunderstorms possible late Sunday. The good news with all this is that I think our flooding potential is going to remain very low and our severe weather potential is going to remain very low. But it is an unsettled forecast, and that's not what you want to be dealing with as we head into the weekend. Now, keep in mind, that's one possibility of how things are going to shape up. I showed you one version of one computer model. There are other computer models that we use here at Channel 4 to simulate what's going to happen with Futurecast. Another one called the BAMS model has a different scenario. We'll start at Saturday morning, and it agrees with lots of clouds, the moisture heading in, but look at it just fall apart. It's thinking that the dryer that's in place over the mid-state right now is going to be sufficient to just dissolve that first round of rain as it tries to move in Saturday evening, and then the next round of rain that sets up for Sunday and into Sunday night is going to have a much better chance of hitting the ground. Now, that's a possibility, but that's not what I'm going with in the forecast. What's going on there? Well, for one thing, the other computer models, some of the other ones that everyone has access to, not just us here at Channel 4, saying, yeah, it's trending towards the rainier side of the equation. So we use these 6, 7, 8 different computer forecast models. They all say something. Sometimes it's subtly different. Sometimes it's vastly different. This time, they're beginning to come together to a little bit of consensus with Saturday night and Sunday being the rainier time frame. This is the output from the Canadian forecast model. It's got some heavy rain, kind of on the northern fringe here in the mid-state with those 3-inch amounts farther down to our south, but that's still just too much as we look into that time frame. No flooding problems still anticipated. Another model we use, one of the more reliable ones, is the European forecast model. That one's faster and wetter already by Saturday evening. So again, when we're putting together these forecasts, it's not just taking a computer model and then putting it on the air and saying that's your forecast. We evaluate the different ones and see which ones have the most reasonable scenario and kind of shade the forecast in the direction of the ones that we believe. And I do think that the combination of the more reliable weather models having the wetter forecast and the fact that there's so much Gulf moisture heading towards us leads me to believe that we're looking at a fairly wet Saturday evening time frame, but that's not guaranteed. This European forecast model does dry things out a little bit faster for a time frame on Sunday, so we'll kind of see how that shapes up. One more forecast to look at. This is the short-range ensemble forecast model, which sounds very fancy, and it is, because it takes a whole bunch of computer models and kind of mushes them all together into an ensemble forecast. So you're looking at its estimate of where the heaviest rain is going to fall. Green basically means showers. Blue means much better odds of steadier rain. So we go forward. This is the time frame we're looking at here for Saturday morning. Yeah, chance of a shower, not real likely. And then we get into Saturday evening. That's where there's a better chance of rain. And you see the mid-state is firmly socked into the blue area as we head all the way through the weekend and into Sunday night, maybe even into early Monday morning. So that's what we're looking at. That has kind of fed into my forecast reasoning in terms of the Halloween forecast. So getting them out the door, trick-or-treaters, here's what I'm going with for now. Temperatures won't be a huge problem. Low 60s, drop into the upper 50s once the rain starts to fall more intensely. The better odds of getting out the door and being able to dodge showers will be earlier in the evening, and more specifically, late afternoon. Less than a 50-50 chance of rain there. The longer you wait, and of course a lot of, especially the older kids, want to wait until after the sun goes down to head out and about. That's when the better odds are going to be that you're going to be dealing with more showers and even a few non-severe rumbles of thunder as we head through that time frame as well. So it all adds up to kind of a wet forecast in general as we head through the weekend. Now keep in mind, it's not a guarantee. I'm not going with a 100% chance of rain for the evening forecast. There's still time for things to change a little bit. We'll keep you updated, obviously, with our evening newscast tonight. Dan and Lisa will have an updated look. Nancy will be on the air tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening. If they're going to be waiting a little bit longer with a look at the radar, you can download the Forewarn mobile app and check out the radar there before you leave the house. I'll try to keep you updated on Facebook and Twitter with another look at the latest data as you head through the early hours of the day on Saturday. The good news is that the weather pattern is going to shift. The bad news is it's not going to shift in time for the weekend, but we are talking about some substantially warmer air next week. Temperatures running about 10 to 15 degrees above normal around this part of the country by the middle of next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, with that second shade of orange there on the map, close to 20 degrees above normal through the upper Mississippi River Valley and the Great Lakes. Again, kind of an early November heat wave. It's just not going to arrive in time for the Halloween weekend. So looking pretty wet, going with 80% for those rain chances by late Saturday and into Saturday night. Off and on showers and thunderstorms, more likely than not on Sunday as well. And then some lingering showers on Monday before we dry out and warm up as we head through the middle of next week. So while it does look like a wet Halloween forecast at this point, as I'm recording this, we're still about 36 hours away from trick-or-treating time. There's still time for things to head in one direction or the other. So that one forecast model that does just kind of make the moisture fall apart as it moves in Saturday evening. Kind of hope for the best, but plan for the worst. So start shading your plans towards the wetter scenario, and maybe things will adjust in a direction that keeps us a little bit drier for Halloween evening.